Hi everyone, welcome and thank you for joining us today. My name is Jean, the Digital Event Coordinator at Connecting Up and TechSoup New Zealand. We are part of the Info Exchange Group, a not-for-profit social enterprise that tackles the biggest social challenges by creating use of technology. So for those who haven't had attended a webinar section with us before, Connecting Up and TechSoup New Zealand facilitate training calendars of online webinars, workshops, boot camps, and webcons to help social sector upskills in all digital areas. So please feel free to check out our training on our website for more events coming up. So today, I'm very excited to welcome you to join the Learn About Microsoft's Cloud Services to Help NFPs with Paul. Paul manages the Microsoft 365 channel business in New Zealand, working closely with Microsoft Expert Partner Network to help deliver Microsoft Cloud services to New Zealand's small and medium businesses. Before we begin, we'll start with a bit of housekeeping. All lines are muted. If you have any technical issues, please type into the questions box and I'll be here to assist you. If you have any questions during the webinar, please do not hesitate to type in the questions box as well, and Paul will answer them by the end of the webinar. And please note that the webinar is being recorded. A link to the recording and the slides will be sent to you in 1 to 2 business days. At the end of the webinar, there's a short survey, so please help us to complete that and for us to improve and you'll enjoy an even better experience in the future. All right, now I would like to pass on to Paul for today's webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jean, and hi everyone. Really appreciate you all joining today. It's a wonderful opportunity for us to speak to you as not-for-profit and charity organisations about the things that Microsoft can do to support you. I'm going to have a bit of a mixed session today where we'll kind of cover a little bit about what Microsoft's doing more broadly with charities, and then delve into some of our Microsoft 365 or modern work solutions, as we refer to them, talk a little bit about how they can support your business, especially during these kind of interesting times that we're in with sort of hybrid work model. Feel free to connect with me online there, and without further ado, let me jump in. I hope that many of you will have seen Microsoft's mission before, but we very much hold true to this, and it is the core premise of really everything that we do every day is about empowering people and organizations to achieve more. And really that goes from individuals through to businesses, of course, but also to charities and our social endeavors as well. Our CEO, Satya Nadella, is on record here as talking about how the impact of technology has really changed everyone's daily lives. And the world needs technology to be trusted, right, and the benefit to society as a whole. And I think that's one of the critical things that Microsoft sort of stands apart from some of our competitors and other technology businesses, is that we really are all about trust, security, compliance, and supporting our communities. And the ways that we do that is across quite a few different endeavors, possibly many that people aren't aware of, but these are just a couple of examples here of the types of things that our philanthropies organization inside Microsoft support and work on. Everything from humanitarian action, sustainability, and various projects with NGOs around the world. We also have our AI for Good program, which I'll talk a bit more about in a moment. We have a large focus actually this year on skills and employability, and you'll see on our not-for-profit charity website there are various skilling programs that we make available for free to charities to help people get skilled up in new technologies and in ways that can help with their employment, as well as kind of education across the board. And that's a big focus for us. We have a huge team working on that solely alone. And then of course the one that probably most people are familiar with is our software donation program. And so for many years, Microsoft has made available our software, either like an on-premise license or things like Office, and then more recently, or in the relatively near past, we've had our cloud services available for free or low cost as well. And I'm going to spend a bit more time talking about that today. But before we get onto that, I want to just talk about something that possibly many businesses aren't aware of, many charities that possibly aren't aware of, but we have various grants that we provide for these pillars here. We call it AI for Good as a summary all-up program. But we have different pillars, as you can see here, across accessibility, for health, humanitarian action, things like that, where we provide grants to organizations, typically who are building software that will help support that initiative or that mission. So in the example of the AI for Earth, we have grants going to different entities around the world, and Africa, and all sorts of places around the world, on how we can support sustainability using technology, how we can improve things like carbon emissions and global warming. So there's lots and lots of things there. I won't spend too much time on this, but I am working with Jean and the team from Connecting Up and TechSoup New Zealand on doing some more seminars or sessions on these, and we'll cover some of these other pillars that we do. But just as by way of summary, this is unfortunately from 2020. I haven't got the latest stats for 21, but you can see here in terms of our donation program, we've delivered around about $2 billion worth of grants and discounted software, and about 150,000 organizations around the world take part or have leveraged our software donation program, which is absolutely amazing. I'm talking to you here from Auckland in New Zealand, and here in New Zealand, I think we have somewhere in the region of over 1,000 charities here in New Zealand using our free or low-cost cloud services through this donation program. So really, really amazing that we're able to support charities in the way that we do with that. So obviously we're in this time of COVID. I'm, as I said, here in Auckland. We've been in lockdown for some 100 odd days. I've lost count now. So it's been an interesting time, to say the least, for obviously all of us, but particularly charities. I'm sure this some of these stats ring true to you. So in our research, 74% of charities have reported, having to cancel fundraisers, significant loss in income, and then 40% report losses in donations. And I think this COVID's just had this domino effect through commercial businesses and small businesses, particularly. Obviously, tourism, those kind of areas, has had a trickle down or a flow on domino effect to your businesses, your entities as well, which I'm sure you can attest to. To support you in that, we have developed a number of guides. This deck or this presentation will be provided to you in a follow-up email, but the links on here take you through to a couple of guides, and actually I've got them on screen here at the moment, so I just want to quickly touch on them. This is the COVID-19 resource guide here for nonprofits, and there is a set of pieces of information around how we can support you in technology, but then it goes into free training and resources around how you can pivot to remote work, and different technology guides and things like that. And then there's some more things here around how we're supporting things with crisis communications, chat bots, health bots, things like that, to support your business and dealing with your constituents. And then this is a partner solution guide here. So that's the other link that was on the previous slide. And this partner solution guide has various solutions from around the world from partners that have built specific solutions for charity, not-for-profit sector in these areas here. And so I'll just I won't go through it all right now, but just as an example, so Adobe has a free Adobe signing solution available to you. So these are all partners of Microsoft, and we've come together to build out this this document here, which has lots and lots of different services and technology solutions that can support your businesses in this time. And so with that, let me jump back into my presentation here. Microsoft's non-profit cloud story is really built around our technology stack, and this is a highly oversimplified version of that you see on the right here. But Microsoft essentially has these core cloud services, mostly underpinned by our Microsoft Azure service. So Microsoft Azure is our technology for running infrastructure, servers, websites, lots of database services and analytics and machine learning and artificial intelligence and those sort of things. And on top of that really sits our platforms. GitHub is for developers, and the Power Platform is for what we call citizen developers, for people to write low code, quickly build applications. And then on top of that sits our kind of end customer solutions, if you like. So Microsoft 365, many of you are probably familiar with that. I'll talk about more of that shortly. LinkedIn, which we acquired some years ago, and we provide a lot of LinkedIn training courses for charities as well, again, through free mechanisms. And then our Dynamics business application portfolio. And I will touch on that a little bit later on as well, because we have some really amazing things, some accelerators and templates and specific solutions in our customer or constituent management, donor management, financial management, all in the Dynamics area. So on my next slide here, I've got a little bit more of a detailed slide. Probably just sort of stole a bit of the fun there and some of the references I made. It's a bit of an eye chart, this. I won't really walk through all of this, but we essentially have, through our charity donation program, all of these services that you see in the blue, and then down the left-hand side, a variety of, as I kind of alluded to before, accelerators and templates and things like that to help you get started fast. Some of them are end finished solutions, some of them are kind of templates to get you going. And there's a whole lot of stuff that I really highly recommend you leveraging and taking a look at. I will talk about where you can look for that and how you can get those as we round out the session a little bit later on today. The primary focus of today's session, as you know, is really talking about the modern workplace, and that really focuses on our Microsoft 365 solution. Many of you probably use this today, but I'm going to touch on just some of the core basics of it, and then talk about a relatively new product that we have in the portfolio called Business Premium, or Microsoft 365 Business Premium. And we provide that for free, actually, for up to 10 staff, and then at a very low cost for more users. So I'm going to jump into this just at a high level. So really, we talk about modern work or modern workplace now. That encompasses, both how people work, the culture, but also all the tools that you use for productivity, for collaboration, for security around that, for managing people's identity and your information as well. And so when you think about what's happening today with the whole COVID world, again, a couple more stats. I want to talk about security because it's very, very top of mind for both Microsoft, but for most customers that we talk to. As you know, it's pretty hard to go a week these days without seeing some front page news of a large or small organization that has been compromised in some way, shape or fashion. And so there's just a couple of examples on the screen here. Interesting stat from WHO there, that they've seen a dramatic increase in the number of cyber attacks directed at staff. And those things are just really getting more and more as people seek to infiltrate organizations with social engineering, essentially. And so that's one of the critical areas that Microsoft is working on to ensure that we safeguard businesses and charities as well. And so there's a couple of quotes here from businesses. These are pretty typical scenarios today, and there's often a statement that goes along the lines of, if you haven't been hacked yet, You probably just don't know it. You probably have been, or will be, and so the sheer cost of that is pretty substantial, right? You can see the data points here: 149,000 average cost for an SMB data breach. Of course, small medium business in the American terminology encompasses some quite large organisations, say compared to New Zealand or Australia. But nevertheless, it's a costly exercise when you do have security breaches because of just even downtime alone, lost productivity, those kinds of things. And Microsoft solutions around the productivity and modern work areas are these three core products that you see on the screen now. Many of you are possibly using these or familiar with them. For those that aren't, I'll just do a quick kind of summary here. We have our Business Basic product, which is free to charities and non-profits who meet the eligibility criteria, and that provides you with online email, our Teams platform for video conferencing, collaboration, chat, sharing, things like that. SharePoint platform, which is designed to be an intranet and your online document storage, so you can get rid of your file servers and move fully to the cloud. And then OneDrive, which is the your kind of personal storage, if you like. Think about it as your My Documents folder, but in the cloud. And then we step up from the Business Basic plan to the Business Standard one, which is including all of the previous stuff, plus the Office apps that many of you probably use today. And of course, these are evergreen services, so we're constantly updating the Office apps, and the Business Standard product is low cost. I can't remember off the top of my head, a few dollars for each user. And then we have our Business Premium product, so you get everything in the previous products plus all of our security capability. And it's that sort of product that I'm going to talk a little bit more about today, just to set the scene on the core stuff, and then we'll talk a little bit about how some of the security pieces can help your business. As I said, Business Premium is free for up to 10 staff, and then a low cost price after that for eligible charities. And so our Business Premium product really covers these kind of core pillars, if you like. So collaboration, productivity, working in office, of course, but working online with documents in real time, communication, voice, phone calling. You can use Teams as your phone system, and of course, video conferencing as well. Then we also have the piece that is critical to managing your identities. So when I come in to my office at home in the morning, I log into my laptop, and that authenticates me against the Microsoft Azure Active Directory, which basically dictates what services I have access to, and my identity is protected by obviously things like multi-factor authentication, and all sorts of other security measures that we put in place to ensure that your identity doesn't get compromised. And then the other part, of course, is once you've got a whole lot of information and people using online services, you need to think about how you protect against those cyber threats and data loss, and then securing your devices. That's really what this Business Premium product is all about. So in today, or historically, what a lot of businesses would do, they might buy something like Office, they might run an email server, or they might use Gmail, and then they'll go and buy a third-party antivirus product, maybe Symantec or something like that. And then they might buy something else that helps secure or protect their email or their documents. They might use Dropbox for something, for file storage. They might then use Zoom for video collaboration or conferencing. And really what our proposition is that we bring all of that together into one single application, where you manage your users and your data and settings and everything from that one single console, which further supports your security, what we call posture, which means you're more secure, and then everyone's more productive because they're using the same platform, don't have to log in, remember usernames and passwords, and you have a lower attack surface. So let's just talk about each of those pillars one by one. I won't spend too much time going through all of the detail of these products in today's session, but really collaboration is about real-time work. So nowadays, of course, the way that we work's changed, even before COVID, but accelerated with COVID, with our hybrid working model. I can be working here, someone can be working in a different country on a different device. We can collaborate on documents in real time. We can chat in real time. Obviously, we can run meetings like this. We can do webinars, conferences, all those kind of things, all built into the Teams platform and the Office application. We also have, as part of Teams and SharePoint, the ability to collaborate with external parties as well. So not just about doing video conferencing, but actually working on documents, sharing folders, sharing web pages with external people. They might be suppliers, they could be donors, they could be anybody that you want to kind of collaborate and work with. You can do that in a secure fashion. And so just a couple of examples of that here with Teams. I imagine some of you are familiar with it. If you've used any of the Microsoft 365 products, it's kind of a similar look and feel, which is great. And what you see in the screenshot there is the main Teams user interface. You can see down the left-hand side there's a navigation menu and a whole bunch of what we call channels or teams. And so inside each channel, we can have a chat, we can put documents in there to work on together, we can add external people into that team. So you can spin up a team or a channel for anything. You could spin one up for a specific campaign that you're doing, or for maybe you want to have an internal process that you need to have leave requests done. You could create a channel for that and put a form in that channel that does it for you with automated workflow and approvals built in behind it. And of course, we do all the standard stuff like one-on-one chatting, group chats, and of course the video part of it as well, which is on my next slide here. You've probably seen we've evolved Teams massively since we launched this product about 5 years ago, and we now have all of the kind of things that you'd expect for a collaboration or a video conferencing platform. We have actually webinar capability built into it now with registration forms. We have the ability to do, if you want that kind of Zoom experience with 49, 50 people on videos all on your screen. We've got the mobile app, of course, and then we also have what we call Teams room systems. So if you are a larger organization with lots of meeting rooms, then you can have devices in those rooms which automatically connect to Teams meetings and deliver video and voice and those kind of things as well. We do some pretty fancy stuff actually now. You can be on a Wi-Fi network on your device, and then you can switch over to your mobile. It'll ask you if you want to join it or switch over as a companion mode. If you go from Wi-Fi to 4G connectivity, we'll carry on the call, no problem at all. Of course, we do all the fancy stuff like backgrounds, and we've got this new kind of newsreader mode, which is super cool, where you can kind of put your face in front of the content that you're presenting as well. So some really, really nice stuff. And we also do all the transcription. So if you have people in different languages, or you want to record the session for other people, we record it and transcribe it. And people can then go back and look at it, and they can search for wherever words or actions were mentioned. So I can, if I miss a meeting that's, say, running right now at Microsoft, I can go back and look at that meeting and search the content of that meeting and go directly to the point where, say, my name was mentioned or where all the actions were given to me, for instance. I talked about external collaboration, but I kind of won't spend too much time on that. We've touched on it, I guess, generally speaking. Just the one piece I'd call out here is just that with Teams now, it makes the way that you work and the process of engaging with constituents or suppliers or whoever they are just that much more easier. So we have in Microsoft a set of Teams channels that we use to work with our partners. And it really just helps to reduce the email traffic and then kind of build on actions and visibility, which is really, really quite useful. Then I'll move on to the second pillar around security. And so again, I won't go into all of the capability in here. There's a lot of features and things like that. And this isn't really kind of a detailed deep dive in the product side, but we will protect your identity, as I mentioned before, and will secure that identity from things like being hacked, phishing attacks, obviously preventing things like password theft. And we also do something called conditional access control. So if you've used MFA today, you might find it possibly a bit annoying, right? You log into a computer and you get an MFA prompt on your phone or something like that. So what we do with conditional access is we say, look, if the computer is a trusted device or if the website you're logging into is trusted, then bypass the MFA login. So it knows who you are. You're already a trusted person because of your device, right, which is enrolled in our cloud service, so we know who you are and what the device is. And so that really helps with that control. But then if you get a login from, say, a random login from a different country in the world, then we'll automatically block that and do things like request MFA. We also provide secure access then to your work apps. So this is super important because today lots of people are using different cloud services. You might log into Dropbox, or you might log into Salesforce.com, or lots and lots of other online services. And what we do with the Microsoft 365 suite and your identity is that we make sure that we're using your identity to pass that login authentication through to those applications. And so what that means is that we're helping you protect your data and access control to those third-party apps as well, plus obviously the Microsoft apps. And then we also have full remote desktop access. So if you want, you can be sitting at home with an iPad or something like that, and you can go log into your desktop or your laptop environment. We have a few different options around that as well. If you want to run Windows now directly from the cloud, you can do that. So some pretty cool stuff around that. So I kind of touched on this before. I won't spend too much time on it, other than to say that we are really moving away from passwords. If your business is a company where you kind of have a rule that says we're going to change our passwords every 90 days or every whatever it is, that kind of thing is almost a thing of the past now. At Microsoft, I do not know what my password is. I have a password, but I don't know what it is because it's auto-generated, and then everything is done through biometrics for me. So when I log into my device, I'm using my face for authentication. Obviously, same on a mobile device now. And so we've done away completely with passwords here at Microsoft. When I need to authenticate against some different system, I don't put a password in, I just click login and it sends a request to my device on a mobile, and then I authenticate that way. So that's really where the future is going, and then that also then works with applications that you have as well. So instead of having to remember lots of passwords, it's really become a thing of the past. And then I mentioned about secure access here, and so we give you, as part of the Business Premium product, we give you something called Azure Active Directory Premium. I touched on this before. It's a bit of a technology slide, I guess, here, but this is where I talked about the conditional access control. So we'll do some steps or some validation that says, if you meet this and this and this, then pass through or log you in. If you meet this but not this, then go do a multi-factor check. So super powerful capability built right into the product. The third pillar is around cyber threats and data loss, and so this covers things like how we protect you from phishing attacks and various other malware type attacks, safeguarding your business data, and then also getting visibility into the apps that you use. So inside lots of companies today, people will spin up or access third-party cloud services really at the drop of a hat, right? They'll go, I need to share something, or I need to go and build a project plan, so let me sign up for some online free trial of a project, whatever application. And that's problematic in businesses, because you then have people obviously outside the IT governance or outside the kind of boundaries of your business kind of guidance or rules. And obviously opens you up then for sharing data with different platforms, and then the identity piece again comes into play. And so just having a look at a couple of these things here, this is just an example here where we're protecting a user from a malicious website. We do the same thing in email as well, so we scan all the emails that come through, attachments, those kind of things, and we actually rewrite the links in emails so that people can't accidentally click them. So if an email comes through as a phishing attack with a link in it that's going to take you to a malicious website, we'll automatically rewrite the link so it checks it first. So when you click the link, it actually takes it to, it's kind of hard to see on the screen there, but it takes it to protection.outlook.com and checks the validity of that link. So, you know, social engineering has been the biggest way that the bad actors have been really getting into organizations. And really this essentially stops it, because even if those emails get through, which obviously we try and block them, but if they do get through, users aren't going to accidentally click something and end up infecting their computer and the whole network. And then we do that across documents and email, but also in Teams and in OneDrive and SharePoint. So those files, you know, are safe wherever they are. And then the other piece is on the endpoint or the device itself. So across Windows and Mac, we have our Defender product, and included in the Business Premium product, we have additional security capability built into Defender to support you, where you can manage all of your devices from the cloud. And I'll touch on that in a bit more detail and ensure that everyone's protected there. And so when we talk about securing your personal and company-owned devices, we think about how do you secure these things, these good old phones that everyone's walking around that are pretty much connected to corporate email and other things today. So on my mobile device, I can open up my OneDrive app, I can go to my SharePoint app or browse to an application internally through a browser and have access to confidential information, right? So this could be a BYOD device, bring your own device, could be a personal device. And what we do is we enroll that device into the Microsoft 365 service, and then we lock the device down. I'll talk a little bit about that as well. And then we can also automate deployment as well around what we call using something called autopilot. So if I happen to, I don't know, blow up my laptop here, drop it, it breaks, I can go get a new laptop. And once I log into that device, it's going to configure it based on all of my settings. It's going to deliver Office to it, my custom apps, line of business apps, all of my settings. It's just going to be pre-configured. So you don't have to worry about that whole thing about imaging devices, installing software and setting them up anymore. And this is using a technology called Intune. So we call this technology in the industry, mobile device management and mobile application management. And so when you think about in Microsoft 365 Business Premium, you get all of the productivity stuff plus the security piece, but also the capability to manage all of your devices. And the reason why this is important is that these devices here, these little ones, and then all of our laptops, things like that, carrying a lot of confidential business data on them, and you want to ensure that you manage them because they're a costly device, right? So you want to protect them from theft and things like that. You want to protect them from malware, but you also want to ensure that they meet company compliance and corporate policies. So as an example, I can't do things like delete data from my phone if it's work related. I can't copy data from say I open an Excel spreadsheet with financial information in it from our internal SharePoint site. I can't copy that data and put it into my personal email account. It's just blocked. And those are rules and policies that you set simply using a wizard. So it's quite easy to do. And so in terms of the way that we provide our services today through the charity program, I've got a bit of a summary slide here that covers it. This is in US dollars for those that are wondering. And the product I've just been talking about is something called Business Premium, which is highlighted there in blue. So you can see you get up to 10 seats of that for free, and then after that, $5 per user per month. Of course, you can have all of your users on our free Business Basic plan, or if they need just Office and you don't need the security and the device management and all that stuff, you can go with the Business Standard product. You can see there at $3 US per user per month. Now, there's a whole lot of other services that you can see on the screen here, and I won't spend too much time going through all of those right now, but one thing that I did want to call out is that we have a new service called Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofit. And so that product there is a set, or that kind of offering is basically a set of Microsoft's industry-leading technology. So some of the things you saw on the previous slide, we've pulled together into a single service for you, together with a whole lot of templates that I mentioned before. And we talk about this common data model. So we've looked at what nonprofits need in terms of structure of data and the way that you need fundraiser, volunteers, those kind of things. And we've brought that into a single set of tools and templates. And so just to kind of touch on that a little bit more, I've got a couple of the documents open here. On that, I'm going to show you the website as well. We've got actually, let me do that first. I've got a dedicated website here for Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofit, and you can go on here, have a look at the video, It'll go through all of the capability that's built into it. We've got an online webinar which is on demand that you can go and watch anytime. And you can see there's some things like pricing data sheets and stuff like that. We've got some customer stories here. So there's a whole lot of things that you can leverage today that we kind of pre-package, right? Which I think, depending on your size and what you're looking for, can be super useful. So we've got a nice brochure here which talks about what we cover in it, but essentially it brings together the Microsoft 365 product with our Dynamics business application product and some other services to cover things like fundraising, constituent marketing, volunteer management, and I'll let you kind of read through the rest of the key pieces there. So if you're looking for a solution that can help you kind of manage the full end-to-end of your staff and productivity and collaboration, plus also all of the kind of business application side of it, or your constituent and fundraising pieces, then that's all kind of come together, and this is one single thing called the Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofit. We do have a pricing sheet here. This is off the website as well, so you'll be able to grab this link from the deck that you'll get after the session. But you confirm your nonprofit eligibility generally for all of our products, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. And then this is what the product includes. And so you can see here for fundraising and engagement, we provide our LinkedIn Sales Navigator, our Teams, Power BI for business intelligence reporting, dashboards, and then we provide you with a set of our sales. It's called Sales Enterprise, but it's reconfigured to be all about volunteer and fundraising management, donation management, and our marketing capability, and then our app service, which delivers things like website for campaigns. So yeah, there's a whole lot of really great stuff here on the site where you can go and spend some time. If you're not used to or haven't seen any of the Microsoft non-profit programs before, we have a dedicated website for it. I'll have the link up in a moment, and you can jump on here. You can see we've got some banners running across here. There's the Microsoft 365 Business Premium for free, which is what I've just talked a little bit about today. And you can scroll down here and kind of look at the different areas that we support. So if you click on Explore Nonprofit Offers, you'd go in and see all of the different services and offers that we provide as well. And then we branch out into some of the other things that we have around ads as well for social impact. So we provide discounted pricing on our Microsoft advertising, so you can deliver messages through various Microsoft platforms as well. And so yeah, I'd highly recommend jumping on this. You can see, you can click on the products here and go into each of the product areas and see what you get as part of it. There is an eligibility criteria. I won't spend too much time really on this right now. Essentially, you need to meet basically the equivalent of the American 501c3 status of their tax code, which basically is how they define a charity in America. So you need to have the equivalent of that in New Zealand or Australia or elsewhere. So in New Zealand, you'd need to be registered with the New Zealand Charities Commission. And then there are some other eligibility criteria as well, including what is your mission. Obviously, it's really focused around doing for the betterment of the community, as opposed to just being a pure non-profit. It needs to be a charity-based organisation for the community. And then there are some entities that aren't eligible. I just want to call that out just so you're aware. So if you're a healthcare type organisation, we have different vehicles for that. If you're a trade association, that might be a non-profit, that's not eligible. So there's a couple of those things just to be aware of. So the other thing, I'll just jump back into my presentation here, is that we work through a huge community or a network of partners. And so I already touched on earlier in the session the partner piece and some of the services that our partners have built around the world to support charity and non-profit businesses. But we have a wide range of partners here in New Zealand and Australia that can help you get started, can help you deploy these solutions, help you with training, and then obviously there's all of the managed services and ongoing kind of support as well. And so that's really how Microsoft delivers and supports our customers, generally speaking. And so with that, I wanted to say thank you very much for listening today. The link is microsoft.com/nonprofits. you go there, you'll hit the website that I was on before, which has all of Microsoft's philanthropies, the AI for good, our Microsoft Cloud for non-profit service, and all of the eligibility and criteria. And incidentally, I didn't mention that, I was remiss before. You can apply online for the donation program, and we'll just run through a donation validation or eligibility validation, and then you'll get communication on how to then access those offers. So thank you so much today. I think we'll move to questions, and feel free to connect with me through the mechanisms on the screen.
No worries. Thank you very much, Paul. So, all right, so let's get started with the Q&A sections. So if you have anything you want to ask, please feel free to type into the questions box. All right, so we have Beyond here. There's a questions. Let me see.
Love to get, while Jean's doing that, love to get your feedback. If anyone wants to give feedback on this, kind of a bit of a first run for this session here, we'd love to hear what other things you might like to hear from. As I mentioned, I will work with Jean and the team on some future webinars that will talk about some more detail around the nonprofit cloud offering and some of the templates we have, and then also our other philanthropies, services and support.
Yes, definitely. And also, whenever you have comments, so please just complete our survey at the end of the webinar so that we can really understand your needs and we can tailor-make our presentation. This is really can help you. So, Paul, I just assigned the questions for you because this one is a pretty long one. So I guess maybe it's easier if I just assign this one.
Yeah, is this the incorporated?
Yeah.
Used to cover incorporated societies with charitable intents, but now seems to only be those who have registered with the Charity Services, the old Charities Commission. Does the slide you show now cover incorporated societies? Thank you so much for the question. What I'll do, if we can just jump over here, I'll just jump into the eligibility criteria. I'm not 100% sure on just the broad definition of incorporated society. What I can do is just refer you to the kind of eligibility criteria that you see on the screen. So the first part is that your eligible organisations must operate on a non-for-profit basis and have a mission to benefit the local community, including but not limited providing relief to the poor, advancing education, improving social welfare, etc., etc. So if the society meets those goals and is registered with the Charity Services, the old Charities Commission, as you say, and isn't one of the ones here, then you would be eligible for our charity donation program. I'm not sure if that directly answered the question. I hope it got somewhere towards it.
No worries. Let us know, Fiona, if this answers your questions or if you need further information, just let us know. So our Caroline is giving some really nice words. So it's an excellent presentation. Glad to see our organization is on track. And we'll be seeking some additional information on MAM, M-A-M. So just tips.
Great. Yeah, mobile application management. Yeah. And as I say, I'll just reiterate again, the business premium product is ideally suited to a kind of small, medium-sized business, and it includes the key things that businesses need to obviously, I've talked all about it, but to manage your identities, but then the devices which you talked about, or mobile application management, which you're looking into. So I think that's great.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Our Fiona just got some clarification with the questions. So she's saying that the incorporated society are the legal entity, but maybe not the register with the charities services.
Okay, yeah, look, honestly, one of the criteria is, it's a mandatory criteria that to be eligible for our donation program, in any country in the world, you have to be registered with that in-country sort of charity official register. So yes, unfortunately, if you're not listed with charity services, then you would not be eligible.
No worries. Hope that answers.
Oh, sorry, Jen. It's probably just worth pointing out that through our partners with TechSoup and Connecting Up in Australia, you can go on there as well and have a look at the various donation pieces here as well. And so if you click into Office or Windows, we do also provide these on-premise licensing as well, if you like. So these are kind of traditional, just buying a copy of Office, and I believe this is meet this criteria. The criteria for this is the same, I suspect, as well, though. But just be aware of that. But you can go to TechSoup or connectingup.com.au for their guidance on this as well to help you.
Thank you for that. And then I can also put this link into the follow-up emails so that just in case if you would like to have a more understanding of the product itself, just click on the link.
Yeah,
I'll put
great.
that in the follow-up. All right, so let me see if we have more questions. So we have another poll here. So he's asking, are there any organizations that can assist migrating us to adopt MS capabilities for nonprofits?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we actually have a directory listing, which if you really wanted to, you could do this right now. It's aka.ms/partner search. You type that in to your browser, you'll be taken to this website here, and it'll ask you if you want to use your location, or you can just type one in. So I'll just, for interest's sake, I'll just put in Sydney here, and I'll click search partners. This is going to load up a whole lot of partners, and then you can then filter this by your size of business. If you're a 1 to 9 person business and you're looking for a partner that's got a certain competency, so you might want a partner that's got a gold competency and that they specialize in, say, Microsoft 365. And so you can see at the top here, I'm kind of filtering down. There's a whole lot of partners in here. There's hundreds and hundreds of Microsoft partners, of course. So yes, you can go and have a look through this. You can actually contact partners through the site. You can see here it says contact me, and you go and fill out some details for an account here, and then you can send them some information. You can contact multiple partners in one go as well. So yeah.
That's great. It looks really informative. So Paul, would you mind if you can type the link, because I just missed that link, onto the chat box so that everyone.
Yeah, let's do the chat. Sorry, of course.
Thanks for that.
Good.
And then also I'll just copy paste that link into the email for everyone.
Partner. Yeah, I'll pop it on the slide actually as well. I did have a slide there talking about partners, but I didn't put the link. So yeah, there we go. Everyone should hopefully have that.
Yep.
Oh, did I put? Yep. Organizers and panelists. Yep.
Okay. No worries. All right. So it's on the for all the audience now, the link. But again, like Paul said, it will be appear into the presentation deck as well. So don't worry of not getting the link.
Yeah.
So hope that helps. And Nicole is saying that, oh, excellent information. Thanks for the presentation. She found it really useful.
Thank you so much for the feedback, Nicole. Appreciate it.
Yes, that's really nice. And there's a questions about Microsoft Teams. So she's actually using it in the organization. Is it possible to share files or any informations outside the organizations?
Absolutely, yes. When you are in a Teams channel, you can invite external guests to that channel, and then any files that are in that channel or the files tab will be shared with those guests as well. It's super easy to do. I won't go and do a live one, but I'm just going to do a quick search here for invite Teams guests. And you can see the first article here in Google's search results has a link on how to invite guests. And so, yeah, you'll see here, pretty straightforward. You're on your team here, the Northwind Traders team, and you can click on the little button next to it, the ellipsis it's called, and then add member. And so that's pretty cool. I think the only thing you have to be aware of is that guests need to have a Microsoft account or an Office 365 Microsoft 365 account. As well, so that we can manage the security and access control as well. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you for the information. And this is a quite common questions that we had another webinar the other day. So everyone is really wanted to share the files to external partners, but
Oh
they
yeah.
aren't sure how to do that.
And by the way, I mean, I'm talking about just Teams here, but of course you can do that in OneDrive and SharePoint as well if you want. You can set up a whole SharePoint environment. I mean, maybe I'll just go and do a basic example here. I'll just go into say, let's just go into this site here. So this is an example of a SharePoint site. So I'm at the Microsoft internal one here, and we've got a team site for the New Zealand SMB team. But what I can do is I can highlight that entire folder there, click the share button here, and we can go and share that out to external people. You can have different settings in here where it has people inside Microsoft with a link. So obviously I'm at Microsoft, it would have your company name there if it was you. People with existing access or specific people. Here at Microsoft, we have a rule. You can see that this one at the top is grayed out. So I can't just provide a link to any old random person. I have to specifically call out the people that I'm going to share it with. So yeah, you can go ahead and then kind of share that. They'll get an invitation and they can access it, and they'll be able to log in and see exactly what I'm seeing here and all the files that are sitting under this folder here.
Excellent. Thank you for that. So yeah, I guess it's really clear. And then there are so many different functions, because I would say MS is a really broad topics. So
Yes.
there are so many different kinds of softwares. So if we really want to go to in-depth, we are going to have like lots of sections coming up.
Yeah, that's right. By the way, for the folks that are still on the call, thanks for sticking around as well. I did kind of do a pretty high level session today, but if you are all interested in looking at much more detail, like getting into the product features and stuff like that, we'd be happy to do that as well. Feel free to just post that back in the survey or the chat on the things that you want to see, because happy to go into a bit more detail as well. Obviously, I'm not a trainer, but I do use our products every day, so I'm more than happy to do those kind of things. I would actually also call out, given that we were on the TechSoup website, it's probably just worth calling out that TechSoup and Connecting Up in Australia does have a set of webinars and events. Oops, not there. trainings
Yes.
here. I've got a 404. I must have had an old link in my browser. Yeah, so you can go in here and have a look at all the different sessions. Obviously, there's this one we're running right now. But there's you've got a set of pre-recorded ones, haven't you? I think on Office 365, Jean, and yeah.
Yes. So there's like, we basically have like different Microsoft webinars, especially for next year as well. So there's something like Lunch and Learn starting from 1 p.m. Melbourne time every Wednesday. So it's not posted on the website yet. We are kind of like still building it up. So, but that would be like a short lunch and learn for 30 minutes. So if you wanted to know more about Teams, more about SharePoint, so we have someone who would like to share a little bit with you as well. But of course,
Right.
Corey is one of the really best person, is an expert, so that after this, after having your surveys, so we will know more about your needs, and then we'll talk about what's next.
Perfect. Yeah, wonderful.
Wonderful.
Actually, just a quick point for those that are still online for the call. If you just do a basic search for Office 365 training, we actually have a really good. It's amazing actually how much stuff is out there. So obviously there's lots of third-party websites, but I'm just on the main Microsoft training or the Microsoft 365 training site here, and you can see that you can go into individual products, right? So if you want to get training on Teams, you can click in here. And I won't do it right now, but it's got lots of snackable, 5-minute kind of things on how you get started, how you do file sharing, how you build channels. And if you go down here, we've got all these little infographics and cheat sheets as well. So if you kind of just want to, pull down the cheat sheets of like how do you share files, then go grab that and you can share that out. And then there's a whole lot of much more detailed stuff as well that we go into. Again, I won't spend too much time on it, but all these are video-based training here. So how do I get work done with my team? How do I get work done across my organization? What about if I'm in HR or if I'm in finance, right? So we've got tips. Anyway, look, I'll I'll stop there, but as you can see, we have a lot of content. I think it's been really nicely organized and easy to kind of follow your nose on this site here as well. I can drop that in the chat as well, but if you do a basic search for Microsoft 365 training, just make sure you end up on the Microsoft site. There's some websites out there that kind of offer training and they would try and charge you for it and things like that, but you know, a lot of that stuff is free on our own website. So
Wonderful. Thank you for that information. I do find that it's really informative. And let me see if we have more questions now. So there's the audience, his name is Paul as well. So he's saying that it's a great presentation. So when the recording is released, he's going to show to the board. And that should get support from the migration to the MS Workplace.
fantastic.
So he's the person asking about the migration. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for that, Paul. And yeah, definitely. I know you asked before about partners, and you know, feel free to reach out to me if I can give you any pointers and guidance as well. But you know, I think to be honest, it's a bit of a no-brainer to move to Microsoft 365. You know, it's either free or pretty low cost, right? So the benefit that you gain in productivity and security, you'll genuinely save money by doing it. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. All right, thank you very much, Paul, again for today's sections. And before we do the wrapping, would you like to have anything to add?
Well, I'll just flash up my my last slide again here, just in case anyone wants to get in touch with me. Here's my email address. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or Twitter. But I really appreciate your time today. I know everyone's time is valuable, and I hope you got something out of the session today, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Lovely, that's excellent. So before we finish, there's a really great events coming up that I would like to show you quickly. All right, so I guess all of you is seeing my screen now. 1 second. Okay, so we got an event on the 9th of December. So that's basically next week, Thursday. Is planning your content calendar for 2022. So it's basically a social media event. It's like coaching you how to create a perfect calendar in different platforms. So the best part about it is it shows you the golden rules of setting the calendar. So you don't need to worry about like you do it need to every day and also it gives you the tips and some tricks about how to make the content more creative. So it will be based on your company objectives, your audience, and resources that you're having. So I'll say it's a really great event to help you for next year planning. If you're interested, feel free to join us, and the link will be sent to you in the same email as well. All right, thank you very much, everyone. And then I hope you enjoyed today's section, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you all. Thanks, Jane.
Bye.
Bye.